This is On the Sidelines with Box 13.
All right, welcome into another episode of the On the Sidelines podcast. I'm your host, Ethan McReynolds, here as always with my partner in crime, D-Jack Dante Jackson.
Yes.
Dante, it wasn't pretty this weekend, but the Seahawks got it done. They beat the Titans, maybe closer than a lot of us anticipated. But, we talked last week on the podcast. We wanted two things, a turnover-free game and for them to get the running game going. 5.7 yards per carry, turnover-free game from Sam Darnold. We don't need to talk about the punt return for a touchdown. The offense had nothing to do about that,
right.
And neither did Sam Darnold. What do you think about the game against the Titans?
I thought it was a workmanlike performance. You know, they go over to Tennessee. Nashville, and it was a 10 a.m. start, so it's kind of tough. They're road warriors. This team loves to play on the road, and I think they played as hard as they needed to. They got out to that lead and then held on at the end. Now, Tennessee was tough, and I came away impressed with Cam Ward.
Yes.
I think they found their quarterback of the future, but I think the Seahawks did what they had to do.
Yeah, I completely agree. A turnover-free game from Cam Ward as well. He was just making things happen. I mean, what was it? 3 4th down conversions on their last drive to get it down to one possession. I mean, they just would not quit. I mean, that is a team. I was not expecting that. 1-9 through 10 games, worst point differential in the league. Their season is over. I mean, their owner is up there hoping that they lose for that number 1 overall pick. But this team was not playing like a team that had given up at all on their season.
There was no give up in this team. And this is teaching tape. This is what you want if you're the Seahawks. You won the game, and you can still learn from it. If you're Mike McDonald, you love this because now you can say, hey, we didn't do this, and this well. We can get better. And I feel like the Seahawks still can improve. And they came out of the game fairly healthy. I think they lost like 3 players, Ty Okada being one of the most important. So I wanted them to get out with, a little bit more healthy, I guess you can say. But I'll take the win. A win is a win.
Well, and, you mentioned the health. Gray Zabel returning to action.
Oh, man.
I was not expecting him, in the aftermath of that injury to be back just 1 week later. So that's a really good sign because I think this offensive line really needs him. And then, D-Jack, you were screaming about wanting more Ken Walker.
Yes.
It wasn't the 20 touches. I think he ended with 14, 11 carries, 3 catches. But he led the running back room in snap count, and playing 63% of the snaps, his highest snap count of the entire season. Mike McDonald said he's earned more snaps than they're giving him to him.
Yes, and what gave me the most hope about Ken Walker III was the fact that they threw it to him out of the backfield. I like them introducing the passing game with Ken Walker because now if you're an opposing defense, now you have to look forward to that. I mean, Ken Walker in space, getting the swing pass out of the backfield. He ran the ball hard. It's one of the hardest I've seen him run in a game. He had a few big plays there. I like what I see. I want a few more touches. I want him to hit that 20 touch point. If he hits 20 touches, I think he gets the 100 yards rushing, the 30 yards receiving, and he needs to get in that end zone for sure.
Yeah, 11 carries for 71 yards on the ground, 6.5 yards per carry, and he had 2 or 3 explosive runs.
Yes.
He was breaking loose against that Titans defense. So really good things to sort of build off of in that running game. And Charbonnet was effective in his 6 carries as well for 35 yards, just under 6 yards per carry there. And scalping the touchdown from Ken Walker for his fantasy owners.
And that's the only thing. I want to see Ken Walker get in that end zone. You can tell how hard he's running. He wants to get in there too. And last week, you can feel the relief when he finally got in that end zone in the red zone. But I want to double back to Gray Zabel.
Okay.
I'm so happy we have him here on the Hawks. He's a throwback. He has that old school mentality, and some way, somehow, he was going to play in this game. And you know what? I didn't think he would miss this game. I thought the Seahawks might have held him out against his will, but if it was up to him, I knew he would play. He played well. Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best defensive tackles in the league, and I think he more than held his own. We have one in Gray Zabel.
Yeah, he really showed his toughness throughout this entire week. And that's what Mike McDonald said he opened it when he was talking to me. He was like, he is one tough cookie.
Yes.
I mean, and that is some high praise from as tough of a head coach as Mike Macdonald. So really good to have Gray Zabel back, and they need him so bad. I do not want to know what this offensive line looks like without Gray Zabel in the lineup. That is for sure. We've gone too far into this episode without talking about one Seahawk in particular.
Yes.
I think you can guess. That is Jaxon Smith-Njigba.
And you know what? You stole the words right out of my mouth because I was going to say we've been talking Seahawks for 10 minutes and we haven't even mentioned JSN. What more can you say? You know, and I'll raise my hand. Hey, Ethan, when the DK move happened,
Yep.
I was one of those ones that said, hey, you do not get rid of your game breakers. And it wasn't an indictment on JSN. It was just, hey, he was one of the main playmakers, DK Metcalf was. And I didn't know if JSN had that in his game. He's shown everything this year. He can go deep. He can go short. He can route you up. He can bully you and run after the catch. He has sure hands. He can block. This guy is all pro. He's all world. And right now he's the best receiver in the game.
Well, and he's doing it with the Seahawks throwing the ball the 31st most out of the second fewest in the entire league. Out of
efficient. Efficient is the word.
And that doesn't even do it justice. Scott Barrett put this on. He does like fantasy stats and stuff. Put this on Twitter. The top receiving yards per team pass attempt seasons in NFL history. Jaxon Smith-Njigba third all time.
Wow.
The top 6 are all guys from 1965 and older. So he's doing stuff that hasn't been done in the last 3-4 eras of the National Football League.
Yes.
It's absolutely you say efficiency. I mean, I don't know how, Sam Darnold works through his progressions and it's the whole process of it all. Somehow I guess Jaxon Smith-Njigba, anytime he looks his way, he's just open.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's just throwing the ball to him every single time. I mean, let's look at the target share. 10 targets for Jaxon Smith-Njigba, 8 catches on Sam Darnold's 26 attempts. I mean, he's got to be at one of the higher volumes for receivers in the league. And the Seahawks are throwing it the second fewest in the National Football League. It's insane.
And I wrote down a word, and it's trust.
Yeah.
It's trust. I love the trust that Sam Darnold has in JSN and the chemistry that they have. If JSN is anywhere close to even one-on-one coverage or being open, Sam Darnold delivers that ball. And I want to know JSN's athletic background because it seems like he played basketball. I'm of the belief that basketball players are the top athletes in the world. Period, out of any sport. That's just my belief. And I think JSN uses that to his advantage. You can see him ball in the air. He's boxing him out. The position of his body, even when he's breaking off the line of scrimmage, the way his footwork is, he's crossing you up. I love the way that he plays this game, and he's quiet. He does it quietly. He's not loud. To your point about DK Metcalf, it was just too much noise around him. He's humble. I love what we have in JSN, and I look forward to seeing him grow even more. He can only get better, y'all.
Yeah. You mentioned DK Metcalf. JSN broke DK Metcalf's franchise record for receiving yards in the season in just 11 games. He's still on pace to break 2,000 receiving yards. First receiver ever to do that if he was able to get it done. Still 6 games to go.
Yes.
He's on pace to break 2,000 yards with just 6 games to go.
Wow.
It doesn't sound real.
Yes.
It feels like a dream.
And like you said, throwing 20 times a game from Sam Darnold, and with his turnover problems, JSN he's an assault. He put an assault on the Seahawks franchise record books. He pretty much owns them already, and he still has 6 to go. But not only the Seahawks record book, the NFL record book. He's the only receiver in the NFL to get 75 yards or plus in 11 games straight. All right?
To start a season.
To start a season, 75 yards, 11 games. He's putting assault on all the record books. I was not expecting this. out of this player. I'll be the first to admit, and I don't know not one person that was expecting this kind of explosion from JSN. It's a credit to his work ethic. It's a credit to Clint Kubiak. I'm going to give him some credit. It's a credit to Sam Darnold for pinpointing and Sam Darnold accuracy when throwing the JSN. I mean, it's fantastic. What more can you say?
Well, I think that's a good point with Sam Darnold. I was going to bring that up because you don't get close to setting a receiving yards record without the quarterback putting the ball where it needs to be on time and accurate with the ball. Sam Darnold has been incredibly precise throughout most of the entire season. Yeah, there have been a couple of mistakes, but 95% of the time, Sam Darnold's making the right decision with the football. And Jaxon said as much. This is a team record that he just broke. It's the offensive line giving Sam time. It's Clint Kubiak scheming the pass protection to give Sam time. The route combos, keeping the secondary on their heels, and then Jaxon Smith-Njigba. There's no answer for him right now.
Right.
You mentioned it. He can do anything that he wants. You bring a safety over the top, he's going to carve him up underneath. You leave him in single coverage. I don't know what you're doing, Tennessee. On that 63-yard touchdown, you got to have at least two guys on Jaxon Smith-Njigba if you have any hope of covering him.
Let me ask you this question, Ethan. What has surprised you the most about JSN's game this year?
I think it's the multiple ways that he's been able to do it. I think he came into the league as his ceiling, or the expectation being that he was going to be an elite slot receiver. To see him do it on the outside and to see him also be a deep threat, I knew he could route guys up. I knew he could find the soft spots in the zone. He was a really smart receiver, but he didn't really have that burner speed. The ability to get behind the defense and then make contested catches. He's better at making contested catches than it feels like DK Metcalf was when he was
here.
Here,
it's not even close.
I think to me is the most shocking development of his growth as a receiver. So he can just do it any way you want. And his breakout, it sort of feels like Cal Raleigh with the Mariners a little bit in that he's shattering records. And in a position where you don't really see a player contend for an MVP, I mean, he's going to break Cooper Kupp's receiving mark for second of all time, and he won AP Offensive Player of the Year that season in 2021. Now, Coop led the league in touchdowns with 16, which JSN I think he's at seven or eight now. Seven. Yes. So he's a little bit off the mark there, but. Man, you look at efficiency, you look at consistency, you look at all the records that we've talked about. JSN is right there, and if he keeps this pace up, he's absolutely going to be in conversation for the MVP.
Yes, he's definitely a complete player. That's the word that comes to my mind. He's complete. He can do it all, like you said. But what is most surprising to me is his ability to go deep. Yeah. I did not think he can take the top off the defense like we like to say, all of the NFL or the football cliches. JSN, when that ball is in the air, you feel confident that he's going to come down with it, and he has this year proven that he's a number one wide receiver. Right now, he's the best.
Number one in the league.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about the best receiver in the league playing for your Seattle Seahawks in just his third season, still on his rookie contract. So, I mean, what a gift, what a blessing, and how awesome is it to have a quarterback that can get him the ball on time and accurate. I mean, look at Justin Jefferson in Minnesota right now, the team the Seahawks are about to play. Have him on my fantasy team. I know how much Justin Jefferson is struggling right now.
Right.
I mean, he doesn't have that guy to get him the ball. So you see these elite wide receiver talents, they're only as good as their quarterback is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Don't you wish Jefferson had Sam Darnold right now? Don't you think Jefferson wishes
I think
they would have held on to him?
Yeah, they're getting a little
which is ironic,
seller's
right?
remorse a little bit for sure. Well, let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings because this game, coming up this weekend here in Seattle, 105 on Fox 13. Big game for Sam Darnold. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings said, thanks for what you did last year, 14 wins. We're one game away from the 1 seed in the NFC playoff picture running through Minnesota. Yeah, no thanks. We'll stick with our young guy, right. Our 16th overall pick in J.J. McCarthy, who they'd never seen play in a Vikings uniform.
Yes.
I mean, that is that's disrespect at the highest level, in my opinion.
Well, Sam Darnold has to look at it that way as disrespect. But, I mean, you don't spend that much draft capital on a quarterback without seeing what he has.
Sam Darnold played pretty damn well last year.
I believe he did, too. I mean, if you're asking me, I like what I see on the field and not what I have, projection as far as that. But, I mean, if you look around the league, it happens all the time. You have to play that top draft pick. You spent the draft capital. You want to see what you have. And J.J. McCarthy, it hasn't looked good so far. So is this a revenge game for Sam Darnold? Will he have that chip on his shoulder? Do you think he'll be out to prove something?
I think just listening to how he operates and how he manages his emotions, I don't think he's going to make it into that. But it's hard to, even if he doesn't show it. Yeah, he's a human being. I mean, he knows the situation. Like, so, I feel like he's absolutely in a better situation here in Seattle than he would have been if he'd stayed in Minnesota. So I wonder if he's grateful for that. But yeah, stick it to your old team. I mean, you see it all the time. But I think he's going to do a good job of compartmentalizing it a little bit, not trying to force things because of it. The name of the game still, I know you had the turnover-free game against Tennessee, but it's going to be taking care of the football. Because all of this is ramping up to that Week 16 rematch on Thursday Night Football with the LA Rams. And how are you going to beat them? You got to take care of the football. That is the first, and that should be the top three priorities. For the Mariners, top three priorities the offseason, re-signing Josh Naylor. For Sam Darnold, it is taking care of the football.
And if you're the Seahawks team, you have to keep pace with the Rams. I mean, they look like the best team in football. Let's call it what it is right now.
Well, and the Seahawks are the only team that has really pushed them.
Right. And I think the Seahawks are right there with the Rams for sure. But you have to keep pace and you have to continue to win because it doesn't look like the Rams are losing anytime soon. They look great with Matthew Stafford. Now, let's talk about Minnesota. They're about to start a rookie undrafted quarterback, Brosmer out of Minnesota, I believe.
I don't even know who that guy is.
Yeah, don't know who he is and really don't care because I expect the Seahawks to come in and make his life miserable.
Yeah. J.J. McCarthy is in concussion protocol. His durability, I think, is coming into question, which last thing on Sam Darnold with the Vikings and that whole situation. I in the offseason, those two final games that he played for the Vikings definitely made me hesitate a little bit, for sure. But to completely ignore, like the Vikings did, the 14-3 season, I don't get that. I don't get that. To just rest everything on there's Sam Darnold coming up in those two games and like that's how we're going to define his season. I don't know, man. There's too much good things on tape, and luckily John Schneider was able to overlook that, and got a pretty nice discount on Darnold. But I mean, like, when Sam Darnold came over, I forget what our conversation was here, but what did you make of his whole regular season versus the final two games of the regular season where he threw up a couple of clunkers against the Lions and Rams?
I just feel like when you built the equity that you did in Sam Darnold, which wasn't a good career, regardless of the situation or the circumstances, Sam Darnold was considered a middling quarterback. Now, when he caught that lightning in a bottle and he went to that record and bust out with the Vikings last year, you were just waiting for the shoe to drop. And when those last two games, it's the last thing you saw, you didn't feel great about his performance. And you say, oh, here go the old Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. And we've experienced that this year with some of the turnovers. And whenever he has a bad game or bad moments, we say, here go old Sam Darnold. So, he has to fight that. He has to get over the hump on that. He needs a big game win. And I think Week 16 against the Rams will solidify Sam Darnold as an elite quarterback. This guy has all the tools. He has one of the most accurate balls I've seen in my life. Yes. He can throw the deep ball. He can throw intermediate. He's athletic. He can run if he wants to, which I want him to do more. Use your legs, Sam. I say it all the time. So he has all the tools. I think just mentally he loses his focus sometimes, and that's when he gets into trouble. Now, hopefully he doesn't look at this as a revenge game and have that chip on his shoulder, because I thought he thought too much in the Rams game. He
Yeah.
thought about those sacks, and you can see it in his eyes.
He's trying to get rid of the ball.
Yeah, the feet weren't, steady. They were moving a little bit too much. He was a little jumpy back there. He was a little hesitant, a little anxious, you can say. So I just want him to play a nice, complete, calm game. If you just want to throw 20 times, that's fine with me, as long as 10 of those targets go to JSN.
And a couple targets to Kenneth Walker as well.
Yeah, and Barner. You got your big three right there. You have your big three. Now, on Star Watch, I picked Rashid
Let's
Shaheed.
get into it. Yeah,
Yes.
Rashid Shaheed to break out. Why is that?
Yes, because it's so much attention on JSN right now. And that's also what surprises me about JSN. We were waiting for something to happen with JSN. We're like, they're going to double him. They got to stop this. He's the only target. JSN has been consistent all season long. Nobody has been able to stop him. Now, I think the Vikings have a great defensive coordinator. I think they'll have a plan in place. So look for Shaheed to break out.
I like Kenneth Walker. Personally, I'm going to steal your pick from
Yes,
last week.
yes.
I almost put Sam Darnold because the revenge game storyline I think is a fun one. It's going to be the talk of the entire week. With his presser with reporters and everything. But, looking at some of the numbers, Minnesota's got a bottom 10 defense against the run. They're a lot better against the pass. So I know that Mike McDonald wants this team to be able to run the ball. And I think last week was a great step. I think they continue that momentum this week against Minnesota. And with Ken Walker playing more than he ever has in a game, an entire season, I think it's a great time to gain momentum, give him more of the ball, and try to get him to break out a little bit more. Vikings bottom 10 against the run. They also have the most turnovers in the entire league, the only team with more turnovers than the Seahawks. So on the defensive side of the ball, rookie quarterback, Byron Murphy was my pick for the defensive side of the ball. I like for them to turn the Vikings over three or more times.
I'm looking for Derek Hall. He got his first sack of the season last game. I'm looking for Derek Hall to break out, continue. He's been getting close. He has one of the best pressure rates in the league, but you got to get home. You got to get home. Everybody talk about, well, he pressuring and all that. Guess what? When you get home, that's better than pressure, all right? I'll take getting home all day long.
I feel like Derek Hall and Boye Mafe have really stepped their games up the past 3 or 4 weeks. We talked a lot about them and their pressure rates, not exactly with the production in the box score, but I feel like I've been feeling their presence on the field in the run game, snuffing out screens, getting to the pressuring the quarterback a lot more than I did the first half of the season.
And DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yes.
If you watch last game,
been a
he was in the
force.
backfield. I mean, he couldn't catch up to Cam Ward, but he was in the backfield almost every play.
Yes.
And eventually he will get those sacks. DeMarcus Lawrence, I did not know your game, sir. DeMarcus Lawrence is relentless, and that was one of the best pickups of the offseason. You got to give it to John Schneider for this team. The backups, Okada, developing him. He's been on the roster for a few years, special teamer. Patrick O'Connell comes in and plays
He's
well.
Hitting hard.
You Drake Thomas?
Yeah.
I questioned him at the beginning of the season.
Too.
I said, who is Drake Thomas? No, we need linebackers. Drake Thomas is an all-pro, Pro Bowl linebacker right now, leading this team. So, hats off to John Schneider. I have to give him his flowers for some of the moves he made and some of the moves he didn't make, because Tariq Woolen, they say, and Boye Mafe was on the trading block, and he didn't. And I think Tariq Woolen is playing great football. I think he had more snaps than Josh Jobe. So I think Tariq Woolen has earned his starting spot back. So, and Boye Mafe stays in the backfield also. So it's some of the moves he made, but it's some of the moves he didn't make. Hats off to John Schneider.
It's hard to pick a team that had a better offseason than the Seahawks. So, and it's shown in the record, and they're going to be in that conversation for that number 1 overall seed in the NFC. Let's move on from the Seattle Seahawks to another team that is pretty high up in the standings right now, the Seattle Kraken. We are over a quarter of the way through the season, and the Kraken sit just 1 point behind the Anaheim Ducks for top of the Pacific Division. They're squarely in a playoff spot. I feel like the past few years we've been talking about this team starting out slow, digging too much of a hole. You get an injury, and then it's like, oh, we're injured, we can't make it back. the Western Conference is wide open. I mean, Edmonton's starting slow. You're above Vegas. Some of the you beat Winnipeg twice. They're a mainstay. The Kraken are playing really a point. They have at least a point in 12 of their last 15 games. 8 of those being win. That goes back over a month. Yes. This Kraken team is now the underlying stats are interesting, and I would say they don't exactly back up their place in the standings, but they're getting the job done under a new head coach in Lane Lambert.
Yes, and then you talk about those numbers and how they don't back up. This is where grit comes into form right here. And credit to the new coach, Lambert. I think they have their man. They have an identity now. Although they're not scoring at a pace that you would expect when you compare it to wins, they are winning these close games, and I think that's a sign of a building team. I think that's the sign of a great team. And if you get out to that fast start, or you hold form at the beginning, then you can start playing with confidence. Now you start believing, and I think this Kraken team has the talent to make it far. I don't know how far. I'm not picking a Stanley Cup just yet, but I think this is a playoff team, and once you in the tournament, like they say, anything can happen. Go Kraken.
Yeah, I mean, they got in as a wild card, what was that, 3 years ago, and they ended up, taking they beat Colorado, right?
Yes,
and they ended
knocked
up
them off. Yep.
In 7. You end up taking Dallas to 7. You're just one bounce here or there from going to the Western Conference Final. So you just need a goaltender to get hot, and that's one of their strengths is they're getting really good goaltending behind some really strong defensive play, which is sort of what we expected from Lane Lambert, defensive coach.
And that was the philosophy from the beginning that they said that they wanted. They wanted to be a defensive team all the way back to Hackstall, their first coach. Yeah. And now finally it's coming to fruition. Now they need to get fully healthy because they're missing a couple key players.
Jared McCain.
Yes, and once they get fully healthy, look for this team to take off. They have the confidence. They have a plan now. I think they have their coach. Now is nowhere but up.
Yeah, I mean, they have allowed the third fewest goals in the entire league. They're getting exceptional goaltending, top 5 save percentage in the entire league. They've scored the third least amount of goals. They aren't exceptionally. They have the second worst penalty kill in the entire league, and then they've got a bottom 10, bottom half of the league power play. So special teams aren't good. And then you go to their 5-on-5. They got the second worst expected goal differential in 5-on-5.
Right.
So it's like that
what gives,
when you sort of open the hood a little bit and look at this team, it's sort of like, okay, like how are they winning so many of these games? But they're keeping things close. They remind me of the 21 Mariners, how and 22 as well. The pitching staff just absolutely incredible. The bullpen was incredible. Paul Sewald closing the door, Matt Brash and Munoz behind him, but the offense just couldn't do anything the first through the 7th inning. But they kept games close late, and they'd have a timely hit. Kraken have been very, very clutch with their timely goals and coming back down late. 10 of their games have gone to overtime. They played 22 games. Almost half of their games have gone to overtime because they're keeping things close right until the end. Point's going to get it done, especially for a great defensive team that's missing 2 of their top scorers in Capo Caco and Jared McCain. You look at some of these offensive stats, that's going to turn around when you get those are should be 2 of your like top 3 scorers,
your mainstays
of the entire season. So the underlying stats don't look incredible. The defending looks elite, and the goaltending looks really good. And what sticks out to me, Jory Decord, and he's going to bring it. Philip Grubauer behind him has actually been very, very good, and I don't think he's lost a game yet in regulation while in net. So,
and that's a funny thing about hockey. If you have that goalie, if you have that goaltending, all of those stats that you just read off means nothing when you have that stopper. Yep. And they're playing at that level. Their stoppers, both Grubauer and Decord, are playing at an elite level. And if you have that in goal, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, Grubauer, 4 wins, just the 1 OT loss, giving up 2.14 goals against per game. That's going to get the job done from a backup keeper. Backup goaltender. And Joey Decord's been great. Missed a little time with injury, but now he's back in the fold. The Kraken just playing some gritty, hard-working, max effort hockey, and it's something that we weren't didn't see them do consistently. Under Hackstall, it was, we don't have a star player. We need to bring it from minute one, from puck drop, and you would just see inconsistency there. Lane Lambert's getting these guys ready to go every single night. And, a couple of blowouts here and there, losing 6-1 to the Sharks, that sucks. Dropping one to the Red Wings, 4-2. But that's sort of been uncharacteristic. That hasn't been the norm. It's sort of been abnormalities when you've seen those types of games. So the Kraken playing some good hockey right now.
Yes.
Let's move on really quick. My Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Okay.
I wanted to shout them up. College basketball. We are right in the thick of it. We got the fall tournaments going on right now.
The holiday tournaments.
Yeah,
yes.
The holiday tournament, super fun. Gonzaga, huge test last night against number 8 Alabama. The Zags number 12 in the nation right now, being up by 10, and they played far from perfect. I mean, did not shoot the ball well, had a lot of great looks, some bad turnovers as well. Steel Venters, one of their 3-point snipers, fouled out with like 4 minutes to go. And Mark Few after the game was called Tyon Grant Foster's shot selection moronic and said that they had to eliminate some of the boneheaded turnovers. Was super critical of his team. They end up beating a top 10 team in the nation by 10.
Yes.
At a neutral site. So the Zags are looking really good to start the season so far.
They will be top 10 after this win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. They led by Graham Ike, and I love him. This is a different Gonzaga team than I remember. They're tough. They're gritty.
Mm-hmm.
They're known for their defense right now, and they have the bigs to compete with anybody in the nation. And guess what? Coaching matters. All right, you have Mark Few, who is one of the best coaches in the nation. And in this NIL era, you have to have great coaching because you're going to have a different team almost every year. Yes. And you see Mark Few at work, getting this team together. He was critical of this team after they beat a top 10 team. He's coaching. Trust me. He's coaching this team up. If they can shore up their 3-point shooting, this team is poised to make a deep run in the tournament.
Yeah, it's how well-rounded they are. I mean, the past half decade of Gonzaga basketball has been defined by their offensive prowess, not as much their defense. Like they were built in that 2017 national title run. That team was all defense. This year, they're 6th in per KenPom in offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency.
Yes.
You got a top 10 team on both sides of the ball.
Right.
So I mean that's going to play. And when you look at you get to March Madness and all the people are like the past 25 national champs are, this, and this, and these categories. It's teams that are good on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball.
Team.
And then you look one layer deeper, it's the teams that have the kill shot that can go in the 10-0, 12-0 run. You saw that last night against Alabama, sort of that 7 or 8 minute mark where the Zags just sort of started to pull away. They can do that, and then they're also gritty on the defensive side of the ball. What makes me so high on this team, specifically stepping back and being so super non-biased
you
to my
sure?
alumnus. No, not at all. Coded in sarcasm.
Give it to them.
This team is so deep. I mean, they're running 8-9 guys out there. That is not normal for Mark Few's team. He likes to do that early in the season, sort of see where everybody settles into the rotation. This is one of the oldest, most experienced teams in the entire nation that plays well in March, and they're deep. They have 2 legit point guards: Mario Saint Super, who's played professionally in Spain, 19-year-old freshman; Braden Smith, what conference is that? Played for Colgate, the Patriot League.
Okay,
conference.
yes, the Patriot League.
Yeah,
yes.
Patriot League Player of the Year 2 years ago, redshirted last year. He's coming off the bench. I mean, Jalen Worley, transfer from Virginia, just monster on the offensive glass. And then you got 2 elite post players in Graham Ike and Braden Huff. That's not even mentioning Tyon Grant Foster, the best transfer in the portal.
Right.
So, I mean, you can list the entire rotation, and it is studs across the board. Alabama felt that. And they got a big matchup with your Maryland Terps later tonight.
I like this Gonzaga team, but I mean, you coming up against my Terps. I think the Terps going to have a tough night, though. Trust me, I'm picking Gonzaga to win that. But, hey, go Terps, all right? But you talk about Grant Foster. He just got reinstated not too long ago. Yep. So this team is still growing, and he's a stud for sure. He's my pick as one of the better players on that Gonzaga team.
You like those stars. He's their X factor.
Yes,
absolutely.
For sure.
Inconsistent, streaky, but, man, when he's going, he's going.
And we talk about their defense. They're averaging almost 93 points a game. They're only giving up 64. Think about that differential. That's almost a 30-point differential between offensive defense. So Ken Palm, I mean, we know he's right. He's been doing it forever, before any of us was born. So this is a top 10 team on both sides of the ball. They're going to be a tough out regardless. You have the coaching. You have the roster. You have the toughness, the rebounding, the defense. And if they, like I said before, if they can shore up their three-point shooting, because right now they're not shooting the ball very well from behind the arc. Now, once they shore up that three-point shooting, because they do have the shooters in place, I think this team definitely can go deep into the tournament. Final four for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go to top 5, dead or alive.
Top 5, dead or alive. All right, here I go.
Thanksgiving edition.
Thanksgiving edition, y'all. Top 5, dead or alive. Thanksgiving dinner dishes. All right, we're going to start with 5. Mac and cheese, all right? And I'm not talking about Kraft. You better not pull out a box in Thanksgiving, all right? You got to make it in the pan, make it, add all the cheeses. Macaroni and cheese is number 5 on the Thanksgiving dishes, all right? We're going to move to 4. Now, I don't know if this is a dish, but it's essential. It is essential. Turkey gravy. You got to have the gravy, creamy, buttery, and perfect base for gravy. A non-negotiable side is the gravy. You put it on everything. All right, 3, stuffing. Some people call it dressing. I don't know when that happened. It is stuffing, okay?
Is that like an East Coast thing or
I
something?
have no idea. What's the difference between stuffing and dressing? If you know, contact us on the Sidelines podcast on Instagram. Let me know what's the difference. But you got to have, the savory bread cubes mixed with the herbs, the onions, the celery. Some people put sausage in it. I love it. You have to have stuffing. All right, number 2. Mashed potatoes. All right, mashed potatoes is simple, it's easy, it's basic, but it is a must for Thanksgiving. You have to have your mashed potatoes. And number 1, they don't call it Turkey Day for a reason. No. And it's been a lot of turkey slander lately I've been hearing all over the internet and the radio. Everybody don't like turkey. They want to do something different. It is Turkey Day. And if you have a dry turkey, that's a you problem. That is not a turkey problem. You need to go ahead and go back and get another recipe. My wife used to get up, every half an hour and baste the turkey. It's a must. You have to give it attention. You can't just put it in the oven and leave it, set it and forget it. You have to baste your turkey. If your turkey is dry, like I said, that is a you problem. That is number 1 dish. It is the centerpiece of Thanksgiving, the turkey. And here is my top 5, dead or alive, Thanksgiving dishes. What you think?
My question is, if turkey is so good, why do we only eat it one day a year? I know you throw turkey on sandwiches, but why? It's the main dish of the biggest eating holiday of the year. You only eat it once a year. How good is it then?
People don't want to put in the time. It takes time. Depending on the size of the turkey, it can take hours to prepare.
If there's a demand, people would.
You ever heard of Turkey Hut?
No.
Yes, turkey.
I don't think I want to hear about it.
It's a down south thing. Turkey wings are a thing. Trust me. People are eating turkey year round. It's just not a Pacific Northwest thing, okay?
All right.
But I want to mention a few honorable mentions because my mom will get on me if I don't mention.
Okay.
All right, hey, I got it.
Here, ISO shot.
Collard greens. Honorable. It was in my top 5, but I went ahead and tried to get a 5 that everybody would like. I tried to appease some of the people, but collard greens is definitely in my personal top 5. Okay,
you can't appease to the people.
Yeah,
you got to do your own.
I had to.
I was going to give you props for the mac and cheese pick as well.
Yes, cranberry sauce.
Yeah,
a lot of people like that. I'm not particularly. I don't like the cranberry sauce, but a lot of people do. You have to have the dinner rolls also. Okay, pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie, I like sweet potato pie. They're kind of similar, same color, same premise. I like sweet potato. A lot of people like pumpkin. So those are my honorable mentions, and that's my top 5 dead or alive Thanksgiving dinner dishes.
There we go. Yeah, I'm not a big Thanksgiving guy.
No?
Yeah.
No? Bah humbug?
Okay, that's a little. I love the family. It's the food, like, family time. Love spending family time. That's what it's about for me. I'm not the biggest Thanksgiving food guy. Like the main dish, I'm not the biggest turkey guy.
Okay, no turkey.
Gravy's decent, but it's I'm not like in love with it. Like stuffing is decent. I can't do mashed potatoes because of the consistency. It just doesn't sit right with me.
Right.
Hey, nothing against mashed potato lovers. I'm in the minority here.
Okay.
But the mac and cheese and the dinner rolls, that's my like dinner on Thanksgiving. We do non-traditional Thanksgiving at my house because like I don't like it as much. My mom doesn't like it as much. My dad and my sister are like super into it, but I don't like it as much. Well, I guess I shouldn't speak for my mom. She's probably listening. I can't remember or not. But my dad does a bunch of Asian cuisine because he's Japanese, born in Tokyo, grew up in Korea. So he's gonna be making some his tonkatsu.
Nice
for Thanksgiving on top of all the regular Thanksgiving stuff. So it's going to be...
It's a culture thing,
Yeah.
A lot of people have different cultures, different foods, definitely. But it's not... It's called Turkey Day for a reason, all right? You have to have that turkey. Stop the turkey slander, please, all right? Ethan, I got to have you over, man. You need some collard greens in your life.
I like the greens.
You need some yams.
I like
I
don't know about the yams.
You got to have some of that stuff in your life. You won't go back. Trust me. You will not go back.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You might miss me with the games. Okay, let's wrap up the show. We got our NFL picks. Let's update those standings. Austin, Will 2-1, and then Dante 3-0 on the week, gaining a game on everybody. Up at 19-16-1.
Yes, Dallas did it for me. Go Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboy hit the upset pick as well. So a great week from D-Jack. D-Jack, we'll start with your picks. Since you had the best week last week. You're going Ravens at home against the Bengals. Joe Burrow is back for that Thanksgiving matchup, so that's going to be a good one. The man picking the Death Star, the Rams at the Panthers.
Yes.
What the heck?
Did you see me bringing up the rear right now in this pick? I picked the Seahawks last week, something that I promised I would not do. I am desperate right now. I'm not Moneyline McReynolds, okay? I'm in the rear. I'm in 4th place. I got to catch up. The Rams look like world beaters. They're going to handle the Panthers. Panthers played the 49ers well on Monday night and still lost 20-9. Yeah. So I think the Rams
are a lot
handle
better
it.
than the
Yes, and I think the Rams go and boat race them. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I had to pick the Rams.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I just had to give you crap. Your underdog, though, the Giants, Jaxon Dart probably back at the New England Patriots, one of the hottest teams in the AFC.
Yes, I don't trust the Patriots. I just don't. And I think the Giants are actually playing well. I didn't even know Jaxon Dart was back. I was picking them because I thought they gained some momentum with Winston.
Yeah.
I like Jameis Winston at the quarterback right there. He caught a touchdown pass, mushed somebody to the ground. One of the highlights of the week. I think this team has rallied behind Winston. I'll be curious to see if Dart starts that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if he's healthy, he's going to go. I feel like.
Yes.
But yeah, they pushed the Lions. I mean, they took the Lions to overtime.
Yes.
It's supposedly one of the better teams in the NFC. The Seahawks fans need them to be because we need them to beat the Rams.
Yes, we do.
I'm going to go next with my picks. I got the Chargers at home against the Raiders. I got the Hawks at home against the Vikings. Backup quarterback. There's no world
undrafted.
No world where I see the Seahawks losing that football game, revenge game for Sam Darnold. And then my underdog, I just mentioned the Lions got to be good. I got the Packers at the Lions, actually, because the Packers look pretty good against the Vikings. And the Lions had a tough time with, I don't think the Giants they should have had that much trouble with the Giants. So Lions have been a little bit inconsistent this year. It's a big divisional game, Thanksgiving game. Packers to me look better next week. They're pretty evenly matched. I think they could pull the upset. Let's go around to our other 2 contestants. Producer Austin Lane. He's also going Ravens-Bengals. Popular pick this week. He's taking the Chargers over the Raiders, same as me. And then his underdog, the Browns. at home against the San Francisco 49ers, rocking with Shedeur Sanders. Your guy, Shedeur Sanders.
Drinking the Shedeur Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
huh?
he's drinking the Kool-Aid for sure.
Okay.
And then Will Ortner, friend of the pod of Chat Sports, going with the Eagles at home against the Bears. That's going to be a fun game. The Bears are pretty solid. And then Ravens against the Bengals, popular pick. His underdog, the Houston Texans, at the Indianapolis Colts. I think it's very interesting how well the Texans have played defensively since that Seahawks game.
Right.
I mean, that win over the Texans didn't feel as significant. But now you look back, and people are talking about the Texans defense, the Seahawks defense, and the Broncos defense is like, you do not want to play those teams in the playoffs.
Right. I mean, the defense scored against us.
Yeah.
I do remember that. So
that sack in the end zone
of
Darnold.
Defense was tough, but I felt like the Seahawks were in control of that game all game long. And now that's a good win for the Hawks when you look at how the Texans are playing. And they was playing with a backup quarterback in Davis Mills. I think he's won like 4 straight. So they don't have their leader in C.J. Stroud and still winning games. So this defense is legit. The Texans look good.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the Texans' recent schedule because they have been playing some good football without C.J. Stroud. Yeah, 3 straight wins, and they they only lost to the Broncos by 3. They've won 4 of 5 since losing to the Hawks. So yeah, they started out the season 0-3. They fell to 2-4, losing to the Hawks, and they won 4 of 5. So Texans looking really good. That's a team that I've said that the Seahawks haven't really been tested. They haven't really beat an elite team. I don't know if the Texans are an elite team, but they're a lot better than I thought they were when the Seahawks beat them back on Monday Night Football. I believe that was Game 7 of the ALCS.
Yes, it seems like so long ago.
That was 3 lifetimes ago.
Now I know we're up against it, Ethan, but I got to ask you this. Yeah. This is a Thanksgiving edition. What are you thankful for?
What am I thankful for? Great question, DJ. I'm thankful for a lot of things. First and foremost, I'm thankful for you. Okay. You are an incredible podcast co-host, I will say. So first and foremost, I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for every single person that listens to this podcast because we work really hard on this thing, putting time in outside of our job to make this thing happen because we enjoy doing it.
Yes.
And I think my last thing I'm thankful for, family and the Seattle Seahawks being really good at football right now.
Go Hawks.
To help us forget about the pain of the Seattle Mariners season. DJ, what do you
my wife, my kids, my family, definitely you.
Thanks, DJ.
Definitely, for sure. Ethan keeps me in line because I go off the rails. Definitely thankful for him.
No, never,
thankful for everybody that helped put this together. Bavisha, Austin,
yep.
Jake, everybody that's involved in this podcast. I'm thankful for all the listeners out there. Please keep listening. Subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. Go follow us on Instagram, please.
All right. Well, with that, I could not have said it better myself. Thank you, everybody that has listened to us this year. Happy holidays. And we'll see you on the next edition. For D-Dag, Dante, Jackson, I'm Ethan McReynolds. See you next time on The Sidelines.
Let's go!
On the Sidelines is available wherever you get your podcast.